Mm-hmm.
and I burnt myself out really fast, and I was getting like, I just wasn't seeing much improvement, so I just bought coaching.
Sure. Sure. So you were with a bunch of teams scrimmaging and playing a great deal.
Yeah, yeah, a
Yeah.
lot. I kind
Yeah.
of burnt myself out, and for like most of the season, I've just been playing DPS with like the duo queuing with my friend.
Yeah. So just kind of taking a
But
step back and just enjoying things, chilling out a little bit.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Okay. How's that been going?
fun.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Haven't gone up a lot, but I've been having
Yeah.
fun.
Well, that's the most important thing. Okay. Good. Good. Yeah. I guess kind of the question here is like, what's the plan moving forward? Because we talked about, initially a support main, and then now you just kind of chilled and just did DPS, and that's great. But now what? Right? Is this going to
Well,
be just get value out of where you're at, or keeping your relationship with the
um,
game healthy, or what?
I'm retrialing for a team,
Mm-hmm.
um, for support, and I'm gonna cut down on the DPS. I've realized it's not that fun. It's a lot more stressful, in my
Sure.
opinion.
Sure.
So I'm going back to that, joining like a 3.6 team,
Okay.
and just gonna keep working from there.
Okay. Okay. Makes sense. And when you initially got burned out, what's going to change? How's your approach? What have you learned? Is there anything you're going to be doing differently with your approach to help prevent that?
Yeah, I'm gonna limit myself to one team. Um, Also my sleep. I was double blocking most nights, which was really bad for me because I'd only get like 4 or 5 hours of sleep.
Okay.
And so gonna switch that so I only early block like the 8 to 10s.
Yep. Yep. Okay. So 8 to 10s, only playing with one team, and then you're going to get more sleep as a result. So less Overwatch, more sleep,
Mhm.
basically, as a TLDR.
Yeah.
And ultimately, like,
Yeah.
assuming you're not burned out, support is probably your preferred role in terms of playing the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, makes sense. I want a better understanding of my decisions. I want to improve my game sense, and I want to work on how I can carry my games better. That was when you filled out the form. Is that still the case?
Yeah, I would think so.
Okay. Where's your playtime, or what are you planning on having your playtime looking like moving forward?
I've kind of set up a schedule where I'd get home and just play like 2 hours maybe,
Sure.
and then have a scrim if that's the night, but limit myself a little bit.
Sure. Sure. So just a little bit less than where you were before.
Yeah.
When it's your scrimmage versus ranked breakdown, do you have an estimation of how much you would be scrimming? Is it like once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week?
I think 3 times a week for this team.
Okay. Would you be playing ranked on your scrim nights or just ranked on your non-scrim nights?
Probably all the time, I think.
Okay.
I
So pretty
play some
consistent.
ranked and then scrims, yeah.
Okay. So just like a few games of ranked and then scrim, and then days where you don't scrim, you just play ranked.
Hmm.
Okay. Makes sense. Um, Lucio, Juno, Kiriko. Are you more pursuing what is demanded on the meta, or do you have a specific hero pool of characters that you enjoy? How does that usually break down?
I want to learn more Brig. I think she's kind of my weakest right now. I play main support for teams.
Yep.
So, and I think my Lucio is my strongest. And then Kiriko, she's the only one I win with in ranked. So that's why I play her.
Sure.
And I just have a love for Kiriko.
Makes sense. Lucio, Kiriko, you need to improve your Brigitte. Okay.
Hmm.
I feel like goals are hit Grandmaster, long term, maybe get pro if I can't get the time for helping that, coaching teams, basically.
Hmm.
Okay. Is that still the case?
Yeah, I started coaching some like gold teams, helping out with those players.
Okay. Okay. What's your average play time do you have scheduled out moving forward per day per week? Because before it was 15 to 25, but obviously that was kind of a little much, burned out. Where are you planning on going with it moving forward?
On scrim days, I'd say about 3 hours, like
Yep.
an hour of comp and then 2 hours
Yep.
for scrims.
Yep.
And then regular days, maybe just 2 hours.
Okay. Something like that. Grandmaster, I would say is potentially possible, especially considering that you're pretty close right now. I believe that there's also a chance that next season that they're going to do. I mean, they mentioned it in the blog. There was some discussion about like making certain ranks easier to get because I think Grandmaster is like 4 times harder to hit than it was in Overwatch 1, right? So let's just talk about like objective skill level. Like the current iteration of Grandmaster right now. Hitting that level of improvement with where you're at right now might be difficult with the amount of playtime that you're getting in. You're already kind of pushing the top echelons of ranked, so we'll have to kind of wait and see. Where are you at rank-wise right now with support?
Masters 4.
Okay, so still Masters 4. So it's possible, but it's just going to be tough. If you can't get in more play time, that's totally fine. I'm glad that you're not sacrificing sleep, because that's not going to be a good solution either way. That's not going to help you rank up. But ultimately, if you want to become, like, if the long-term goal would be pro, then we're talking at least 4 to 5 hours. But I think right now the more question needs to be, can I get in 2 to 3 hours per day without getting burned out? Because burnout means you're not enjoying the game anymore, which means that you're not playing the game anymore, which means you're not getting better at the game, right? So I would just say, don't worry about going pro as a long-term goal. I wouldn't even have a long-term goal outside of maybe just some ideas to spitball around. Let's just see if we can get you playing support for an extended period of time without hating your life and without you sleeping 4 hours at a night. That would be my recommendation.
Yeah.
Mentality-wise, on your forum it says, if I get bad teammates, it tends to set me off in playing from ranked, and I also feel like I'm really struggling about being scared of losing my rank. Is that changed? Is that still the same?
I think the teammates thing is less.
Okay. Why?
Because I just kind of learned, like, if I'm gonna rank up, it's gonna be through my skill. Like, I played a lot of Marvel Rivals, and it was like, sometimes I just get dumb teammates in, like, the lower ranks, and that's just how it goes. But eventually I ranked up because I know I was better than that.
Yep.
Just through, like, Overwatch.
Yep. I lost a
So it's
silver
kind of helped
game
me
in Marvel
realize
Rivals.
that. Yeah, it's it's something.
Yeah. I mean, it happens, right? I remember that game. I was like, literally, I think I was 51-5 on Wonder Soldier, and I lost that game. My entire DPS and support and tank line were all negative. And what happens is, it's just bad luck, or especially in that game, like, you might legitimately have, like, I mean, I ended up getting to Grandmaster, like, later that week, so it's like you might have legitimately another player on the other team that's also doing the same thing you are, so that's just how it goes. Now, in terms of you being scared about your rank, that's definitely something that you said that you still struggle with a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Why? I mean, you've been playing this game for, well, how long have you been applying yourself seriously?
Seriously, about 2 years.
Okay. So you've been around a long time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what does your ranked, I guess, look like over the last 2 years, going up and going down?
I went from, like, barely getting to Plat to Masters 4.
Okay. When did you hit Masters 4 for the first time?
Oh, God. Let me check. Season 8?
Season 8.
Season 7.
Yeah, Season 7. Okay. So you have been at Masters, or approximately Masters, for, what, a year and a half?
Yeah, I've dropped down a diamond a couple times.
Yeah. So my point being is that you've been here before, right? So, you're not stupid, but you have dropped and gone up and down and up and down, and you still have this fear. Is that fear is what's keeping you in higher rank, or do you feel like that fear is a bad thing? Like, is it motivating you? Is it demotivating you?
It makes me want to play less, definitely.
How so?
Because I don't lose games.
Yeah. Now, how does playing less not make you lose games? Because it also, in theory, doesn't make you win games either. So,
Yeah, because I'll go in and I'll win, like, 2 games, and then I want to stop playing because I want to be like, yeah, I hit this. I just got to Masters 3.
right.
I don't want to D-rank, so I stop playing.
Right. So, what do you think happens the next day when you play 2 games?
It just keeps getting harder and harder.
Right. So, eventually, what's going to happen?
I will lose.
You will lose. So then what happens?
Yep.
Mental fracture, disaster, right? I mean, it's kind of like, and then you're like, oh, I'm going to cut my losses. I'm going to stop after I lose 2 games. But then, well, if you're only playing 2 games per day, what's your progression looking like as a player? I mean, even mechanically, right? Like, you're going to get rusty, right? I guess what you would want to think about when you talk about progression, you need to think about, as best as you possibly can, if I right now were to be coaching a bronze player, okay? You're saying you're working with some gold players, gold teams, okay. And let's say you had every single one of those gold players and you were to give them a schedule. They had to play a certain amount of games every day. What would be that amount? If you had all the time in the world, what would you tell them?
Maybe like 5 games a day, 5 to 10.
5 to 10 games today. Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. Now, you have the entire. They're going to play for a year, and you're not going to hear from them in a year, and you're going to come back in a year. Some of them will have played 2 games per day. Some of them will have played 4 games per day. Some of them will have played 5 games per day. Which one's going to be the higher ranked players, right?
Probably the 5 games a day. Yeah.
Right. Now, but they were a lot more volatile, right? So I think if you actually tracked the rank of those players, if you looked at like a chart or a graph, there'd be a lot of squiggles going up and a lot of squiggles going really down, right? They'd be a lot more volatile. But why is that volatility acceptable? Why do you still want them playing more?
Because it teaches them and
It
it
teaches
gets
them.
them in the reps. Yeah.
It gets them in the reps, right? And you know these things, but your fear of loss is still kind of preventing you from wanting to do this. So ultimately, skill has to come into play before rank goes up. And you know this, right? But the question you have to ask yourself is, what does my skill, like what about my skill needs to improve? And maybe that's why we're here, right? If you don't really know what you're lacking skill-wise, then yeah, probably not playing a lot kind of keeps you at the status quo. It prevents you from taking too many risks. But once we identify what you need to do to improve, then you're going to need to get a lot of reps in at those things to get better. And by a lot of reps, I don't mean playing 6 hours a day, but you won't want to have those days where things go a little bit difficult and you just quit. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
And I know that's not easy. And I will say there's probably going to be some days where if you start off really ugly and you get really frustrated, maybe it's better to cut your losses there. Why?
It'll start making me play worse.
Right. But
And,
wait,
like, turn off my brain.
But see, that's the last one's the important one. Like us, you playing worse again. We've already established we don't really care if you play worse. As long as you're practicing, as long as you're trying, right? But if you getting frustrated means that you're not thinking, means that you're not practicing, then those reps don't matter. In fact, those reps are probably negative. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So if you drop down a diamond 1 or diamond 2, but you're still like got a decent attitude about it, I mean, keep going, right? As long as you're getting high quality reps. So everything is kind of sacrificed at the altar of high quality repetition. Whether you're losing games, whether you're winning games, I don't care. That's why we take breaks. That's why you get sleep. That's why I don't play for 12-hour sessions, even if you are going for pro. That's why you limit your hero pool. That's why you have goals. And if you're able to stay focused on those things and able to keep yourself getting those reps in, then you'll be cooking. And if not, well, then you're not going to be improved. And that's as simple as. That's all it is. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you tell me where your limitations are. What are some small goals you can set for yourself for how you're training? Ignore like, gameplay tips here, right? Gameplay advice. What can you be doing better this time around? First thing that you're doing is getting more sleep. That's great. What else?
Limit my playtime for sure.
Okay. Avoid those crazy extremes.
Yeah, crazy long like sessions and just more active playing, like using my brain a lot more.
How do you do that?
Have a set goal per match. Like
Sure.
maybe go into this match thinking, okay, I'm gonna really try and play my angles.
Sure. Have you ever done that before?
I've tried to, but I just keep forgetting in the middle of the match.
Sure. Does that mean that the practice is worthless?
No.
Okay. So when you say you tried to, is that something you tried and didn't try again? Maybe something you should stick with? Maybe it's
Yeah,
something,
it probably is.
like this is the thing is like a lot of people are like, oh, I can't stay focused for an entire match. Yeah, nobody can. Like I don't think I've had a single student or myself ever stay fully locked in on one topic for an entire match. I always forget. But the question is can you get 3 or 4 fights or 5 fights or 7 fights or 10 fights or 20% or 30, 40, 50, 70, 80, 90. I mean, I've had a couple 90% games myself. Maybe you have too, right? Where you really were locked in for a game on how to position, right? Like really locked in. But there's always going to be that one fight where you forget a little bit. But that doesn't mean that, that practice is bad. Because whenever that happens, whenever I'm like frustrated myself for forgetting, I just kind of, there's a tendency to just not try at all, right? That's no good. That's like saying, oh, if I'm not going to get 100% on the test, then I might as well not take it at all, right? It's still better practice than not thinking, right? So your priority is going to be on understanding your limitations of how long you can stay focused. Yeah. But okay, even if I don't stay focused for the entire time, can I stay focused for a couple of fights or for this many fights or do the best that I possibly can, knowing that that's going to be better than me not giving in the effort at all. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I know it's not easy, but it's really important that you are patient with yourself, but also demand progress. Demand progress, not necessarily in terms of perfect ranking up or always improving at stuff, but over the course of weeks and months, demand good practice from yourself as much as you possibly can. And then obviously doing so while still having fun with the game too, right? Like you've already shown that you have a tendency to kind of over push a little bit, a little over burnout. Slow and smooth, enjoy the game. Pursue excellence while also pursuing things that you enjoy, things that initially made you want to play Overwatch in the first place. Is all this making sense so far?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any other questions here? Because I think your form, other than that, is pretty much all set.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay. Consistency with playtime is crucial from you, I think, from your history, and whether that's avoiding burnout or taking breaks or getting sleep or, not being terrified of dropping. That's going to be key. Okay, let's take a look at some gameplay here. Do you have a replay code?
Yeah. Do you look at scrims?
Yep, sure do.
Actually, I'd rather look at, I think, this map. Just because it's a new team I'm trialing with, so I don't...
Works for me.
Oh, this isn't a scrim. This is just a comp game.
Ready for battle.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah.
Did you want to look at this one, or are you digging up the scrim code?
No, this one. We just don't have a lot of chemistry yet, so it's kind of like I don't really know what I was doing with them.
Oh, so you're
There's a lot
playing
of
with a team in
issues.
ranked.
No. This is just a ranked solo queue. But the scrim
Oh.
code, I just don't think would be great to look at.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, that's fine. Is this Lucio all the way through?
Yeah.
Okay. It's a good map for Lucio. What are some things that maybe you have been working on with Lucio? Things that you know are your responsibilities, Lucio? Things that you know are some shortcomings with your Lucio gameplay? Just give me the full breakdown real fast.
I've been told my Lucio is really aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been trying to work at just, like, not tempting myself to do things. Like, just going for that solo hero play, like, dive on a backline. Too much Frogger.
Yeah. You heard of Lee Gong?
No.
Okay. He's like one of the best Lucio players of all time. And he's very much known for his very, very aggressive playstyle. But yeah, continue.
So yeah, I've been working on that and then trying to get my tank to where they need to be and then go and do my own thing or help us DPS, things like that.
Okay. How's that been going?
I'd say sometimes like for the first 2 fights, I'll be like, okay, my tank's there. I can go do this.
Sure.
And then I'll just forget.
Okay. So repositioning tank, playing for yourself. You have an aggressive play style, so trying to do that intelligently. Anything else?
Not really.
Okay. Why this particular code? I mean, I know codes got wiped, so your choices probably aren't great, but what about this code made you want to take a look?
It was just a rough one, and I kind of just felt lost half the time.
Okay.
A lot of time I spent looking at the ball, and I feel like he got too much value from it.
Yeah, good as reason as any to take a look at a code. So all we really look at with Lucio is controlling short angles as much as you possibly can, and then being able to reposition as necessary. The real big difference between you and Brigitte is obviously the core value of being able to speed and rotate your team, which is obviously great. But the other thing as well is that like there's just a much easier pivot for you to reposition yourself. So we talk about like the Reddit Lucio. There's a reason why Reddit Lucio can work even in a scrimmage environment, because when you see opportunities, because you have so much mobility, you can quickly pull the trigger and punish things. Like for example, right now you've denied the ball, great, but do you want to go to your Orisa Cass? Or do you want to stay with your backline here? I mean, these are like legitimately important questions you have to ask yourself. And the reason why that's very valuable is because Lucio may not be the most valuable support in any one position, but the key thing is that he can be in any position. And that's what makes him valuable. Like, for example, right now, if you were playing Brig and you were stuck here, you would not have the capability to go back and deal with the ball. It would take too long. Vice versa, if you're here dealing with the ball, you wouldn't be able to quickly reposition and assist your Orisa Cassidy. It would just take too long. The question for you, though, is because you can do both, which one do you do? Because with Lucio, it's all about the short range. Either denying the enemy the ability to get close to your team, or allowing your team to get on top of the other team, or you to get on top of the other team. So what do you think? Where's the play here? Let's actually ignore your Orisa Cassie for just a second. Let's just say that, would you prefer to be fighting Genji up high ground, or would you prefer to be controlling ball here? Ignore your team.
That's rough.
It is. It is.
I think Genji, I feel like I would have more cover.
Okay. Okay. So you like this area better?
Kind of. It also...
Don't be scared of making a wrong answer here. I'm going to be very honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't think there is a right answer here, but I want to hear what your gut says, because I'm going to lean into that. So you're saying I like this because this feels better for positioning and stuff, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You were going to say something else.
But also denying the ball is pretty important, I feel like.
Right, but that's your scrim brain kicking in a little bit, which I don't mind, right? But is not harassing and controlling Genji also important?
Yeah, it gives, I think, more value with my damage.
Yeah. Here's the key. When there's any question, because there's, in theory, I can control Genji, I can control ball, and there's two different choices. Your priority is to choose the one that you like the positioning the most. Mm-hmm. And we've already established that, right? Which one? The Genji, because I like that area more. Why? Well, it feels a bit more congested, there's more cover, and let's be honest here, it probably leans into your playstyle a little more, okay? I don't want you to curb that playstyle. Whenever there's a choice between a more offensive angle and a more defensive angle, I want you always to choose the more offensive angle. The question is it a good angle or is it a bad angle, right? If you were to say, oh, I'm a very offensive Lucio, and then you're like wall riding up here, right, on the pillar, that's too far out in the open. That's just dumb. That's not aggressive. That's dumb. This is smart. This is playing to your strengths. It's just more aggressive. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So let's go. Go play on Aristocast. And there it is, right? If you were not here, does your Cassidy die? Maybe.
Probably.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. So it's always a choice. You can't always do everything. You have to choose what you can do best, which is this exactly. And frankly, here, I'm ashamed of your cowardice. Like, I know that you can't, one-shot this guy, but to be frank, this is your job. So once you disengage this dash here and get back to here, you got to go back, mate. You got to deal with the son of a gun. It's your responsibility. All right?
Yeah.
Now you're like, oh, I got to deal with the ball. Well, yeah, but you were here. You were already here. Don't think about what might happen. Think about what is actively happening right now, right? Whether that's dealing with Genji, dealing with ball, probably not, or actually going in aggressively with Orisa. Like, you have to make a choice here. Now, speaking of that, Orisa players, I think, share one collective brain cell. But that's okay. Orisa is...
The match ranges have been kind of wild recently.
Yeah, I mean,
I think I
Orisa
got
is
a
also
GM5 to Diamond 2.
Oh, that's interesting. See, now I could see the popcorn. Deal with ball. That's good, because you're already here, might as well. But this is not your responsibility. You see it? Mm-hmm. You're thinking, oh, no, she's screwed. Like, screw off. She's a waste of space. This guy is still here. Sell her, kill him. Right? I don't mind the denying the ball because you just happen to be there. But this is just a waste of time. Don't even put any brain cells into that at all. Because you almost did it again. You almost let your Cassidy die again. You notice that? Now, here's a great question. Should you have dealt with ball here? Or should you have gone forward and dealt with the brig? We have another one of these situations. Another one of these choices.
I think I would have dealt with the ball if I still had boop.
Mm-hmm.
But I just didn't have it to deny him, so I was like, I'll go do something else.
Sure. Is this still playing the checkbox of how Lucio is supposed to position? Short angle control, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so too. Yep. Because I'm going to be honest with you. If this Brigitte walks forward with Harmony Orb, she's going to force your Cassidy backwards, right? So you contesting the space here, I mean, it's about as mechanically well executed as the ball main playing Widowmaker. But it was the right idea, right?
Yeah.
It was the right idea, right? Okay, let's keep going here. Now we have another question here. Do you want to deal with ball here? Let's see what other choice we have. We'll kind of let the fight play out. So that's kind of the obvious one here. Deal with Cassidy. Pocket Cassidy. Why are you here and not on the right side? Dealing with the ball, Genji.
Because I was there.
Okay. Well, yeah, so you know the right answers, right?
Mhm,
But seriously,
yeah.
but why were you here then? Why did you mean, let's not lie here. You had a choice here.
Mhm.
You had a choice, and you chose left. Why?
I think I wanted to help my cast just stay up there.
Sure. Let's look at things from a more objective standpoint as well. What do you think? This is what you have to work with, right? Or this is what you have to work with, right? I mean, I know which one I would choose if I'm playing Lucio, right?
Yeah.
More cover, more cramped, more verticality. This sucks, right? No thanks. Good stuff. And as boring as this is, because you're like, well, I'm just marking Cassie. Like, what am I doing? Well, stay. What can you control from this position if you're really focused on everything that's happening on your screen? Do you see it? I don't know if you just missed it.
Yeah. Ball.
Yeah, right there, right? That's your responsibility, mate. Now you're thinking, well, why is Ball coming this way? Because he also wants to come from this island. Ball doesn't want to roll out in the middle of the open, right? He wants to come from this way. Oh, you got to stop this. You see what happens as soon as you think about your Orisa? Watch. You see it?
Mm-hmm.
He fills the
Immediately takes
space.
the angle. Yeah.
And also free dive here. You notice that? That's your responsibility. So you've shown that you know the key terms and the key phrases here. But what's happening is that you're getting distracted by being a helper, right? So your actions don't follow what you understand. At least so far. You're seeing this?
Mm-hmm.
This has nothing to do with you being too aggressive or too defensive. It's nothing really to do with your cooldown usage. It's like, even right now, I appreciate you being here, but I don't think it's worth it. Why would you want to be here? Right? It's not just about, oh, you need to be on the angle. It's about, like, what position allows for quicker access here or standing here. You know?
Yeah.
This is more open space. I don't like open space. And you pay for it. You notice that? You pay for it. It took a little bit, but you finally got caught with your pants down. And this, I mean, come on. I would never catch Funny Astro here. You know what I'm saying? I would never catch Frogger here. Never. You know? You needed to be here. You needed to be here. You needed to be, I mean, heck, even here, right? Like, at least it's on some form of cover, right? Simple as that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. I like this position better than peeling ball. Okay. So this is just more of a mechanical thing and or awareness. Like, when you take the angle, your first question is who's here? Where's that Genji? Where's that ball? Right? Because that's a crucial boop that you missed. But then don't second guess yourself after the fact. So where should the progression be here after you failed? Where should the progression be?
Keep right.
Keep right? Stay with your Orisa, deepen your angle, harass, speed the Orisa if need to be. Don't get caught here. This position is not where you want to be. So now do you see how this is a good place to be if you were already here, right? But you've fallen back on position, which then means you're not in a position to even scout or react to this instead. So let's actually play this if you had kept right here. You see it?
Ooh, yeah.
You see it? You see it? You go all the way in. Oh, Genji, go get him. Same thing. Bit of a disaster, but it's not your fault. Okay. Any questions so far?
Not really.
What are you seeing? Simply put.
Yeah, I just can't put my thoughts into my game.
Right, but what specific
Like,
thoughts? Let's be specific here.
Staying on my angle, doing what's
Staying
close.
on your angle, right? Chasing what's close, letting your offensive blood flow a little bit, right? Not second guessing yourself. I don't love that amp. Let me look here.
I think I wanted to go on the ball, but then I saw gas.
Nice toggle, by the way. I saw the aim assist kicking in there. Yeah. Pixel skipping, I see how it is. Sure. Works for me. I mean, I don't, like, I'm going to be honest with you. I think this is the inferior side of the map for Lucio. But if you're going to choose assisting here because there's people here, whereas over here you would just be basically literally just pulling a Frogger mode here, right? Then, yeah, I get it. I'm okay with it, right? I even like the small adjustment you were thinking about there. Like, maybe I could wall climb and... Yeah, that's it right there. Sure. Good stuff. I would be a bit more cautious about what you do with your amp. Don't just amp immediately if you're not planning on moving. I know it's more of like a, I'm under pressure, so therefore I must amp, but I think you're at a point in time where you could be a little bit more thoughtful than that, right? So, for example, like right now you could kind of amp, and then maybe you still die, but maybe you get a trade, who knows. But yeah, I think this is okay. Like, they had a really good minds. You were able to hit the boop. That's okay. GG goes next. Choose your side. Check your team's position. Choose your side. Don't float here. Okay?
I think here, I was like, that was my angle that I wanted to take. So I just kept going back and forth between it.
Yeah. I mean, it's risky because every time you do it, you cross in the open, but at least you do get to cover. And to be honest with you, I mean, this is ridiculously risky, but you are on close. You are in a nice sight line. Like, this is congested, right? And you are playing cover. I can live with this. Yeah, I mean, it's fine. Double support ult. But see, that's where I don't want you going, oh, I should have been there to speed my... No, you're fine. You're fine. In fact, you're the reason I think that trance was used, I think. Let me double check. Yeah, because this Zenyatta and Cass have been taking chip damage and haven't really pushed forward aggressively. They've been kind of too busy checking you. And so then when things get really messy, I mean, this Zenyatta has been... He's been struggling, right? And if you were better with shots, like, do you notice that there was no thought with that trance? It was just panic, right? Why? Because where was his attention? And that's an attention that you can actually hold for a long period of time because you were using cover well. So, I mean, it's all right. Sure. Again, not my favorite side.
I don't think I ever thought about which side was better here.
You should. You should. Especially if you've got friendlies on each side, then it makes that decision really easy, because then you can think strictly selfishly, right? Like, this is a great example right here, right? Right? I mean, look at that. I mean, you just saved his life and denied the engage. Look at this. Now, one little detail here. So... because you don't have amp, this is kind of why you're like being a little more hesitant here. And if we really dig in the reads here, you go back to amp your Ana, but the ball's already pieced out. You see that?
Yeah.
So what ends up becoming important here is that now you have a 12-second cooldown for when the fight actually starts. And because you don't have amp, this becomes a lot less comfortable. You see what I'm saying? Like amping here, or even amping before that, that's just a little bit late because you just didn't have it in time. Because you use it in a situation where, like, yeah, I could get value out of it, but you didn't need it. So I want you to be a little bit more thoughtful with how you're using this cooldown. Make sense? Make it match action more, either from yourself or from the enemy team. Ah, you're chasing ball again. Don't chase ball. Don't chase ball. Why?
Because I'm not faster than him.
That's right. Well, the other thing is, where's ball going to go?
Right back in.
He's going to go right back in. You don't put yourself where ball wants to be, not where ball's going, not where ball is. You kind of get what I'm saying? Like, you know he's going to come back here. You know the spot is where. So you're in the. You go chase ball here, right? He gets the engage that he wants anyway, right? So like, just hold your angle. Hold your angle, or do something silly here. Go for your own aggressive push from here, right? That's your choice. That's your choice. Value will come to you if your angle is good. It's the same thing like the first fight with the Genji on top right. We could pretty much predict Genji to be there. Why? Because, well, he wants a sideline. He wants to be able to get close to you guys.
Objective captured. Advance to objective C.
Are we going over to the point?
Do me a favor really quick. Could you check support queue really quick? Support queue time?
It might be about 15.
Just check.
7.
7. Are you curious to? Are you interested in doing maybe some live coaching?
Yeah, we could.
Okay, let's queue up right now. Let me know when it pops, and we'll go.
All right. I'm queued up.
All right, let's take a look here.
Get lost.
Okay. Ball went way too early. That's another one of those amps, right?
Yeah, I wanted them to chase.
Yeah, I know, but always tie your amp to action, not to prediction, right? So like an amp maybe now as your team rotates might have been actually useful, but either use it for yourself or use it when your team is already committed to an action.
Heel to this beat.
What do you think? Stay left or rotate right?
I think I like right more.
Why?
Just because sightline wise, and I don't think I'm going to do anything here against 5 people.
Now, but you say sightlines, but let's actually put you on those sightlines really fast, because that's where you're going.
Heel to this beat.
What do you see?
It's long range.
Long
nothing.
range, right? So actually here, outside of a blind rollout, you should have been a little bit more attentive to where people were positioned before you rotated. You see it?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the ball does come here, but there's nothing really... I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know why he came here. I mean, it's okay, but it's probably... So, with where you knew people were close, where were people close with what you know? You see it?
Yeah, just right here.
So then what should you do?
Just stay here.
Just stay here. Sit here, shoot, sit here, shoot. You peek this, and they're a million miles away, and you see ball top. Now what do you do?
Now I rotate.
Now
Or
you rotate. Now you rotate.
Yeah.
Now you rotate. Now you're probably not used to me saying cross the field, right? You're supposed to just use the angle that you got, right? Well, that's one thing where Lucio can be a little bit flexible, right? Because you do have that speed to rotate that other supports don't. Does that make sense? Okay.
What about with the Reaper there?
Into this group.
Because
So-
the Reaper was on that angle, and that might have deterred me. I mean, just
Well,
because I
that's
don't
why
like
you're
that
here.
1v1.
Well, that's why you're here. Your job is to keep people that want to get close far away.
Okay.
Right? So
even
whether
if-
that's Reaper, Tracer, Genji, Ball, Winston, Diva, Hazard, so on. This is your job. This is your job. You don't have to beat the Reaper in a 1v1. You just need to not lose to the Reaper in the 1v1 while sustaining your team at the same time.
So if I just buy like 4 seconds while my team's rotating, that's enough.
I mean, not even by seconds. If you're playing Lucio here, you should make it almost impossible for this Reaper to walk forward without destroying his engage. And again, not by killing him necessarily, but he should not feel comfortable to be able to consistently walk forward without getting booped back again. And then you using cover and dodging and so on.
Okay.
And if you struggle versus this 1v1 often, and die to it frequently, the bad news is I diagnose skill issue. That's the reality of the situation.
Heel to this beat.
This is fine. If you're going to commit, commit.
Amp up this beat.
I knew that amp was coming. Because when do you want your amp? I would like my amp as I go for it. I want my amp now, right? You see that? Don't predict. Don't predict.
Get some healing beats going. Let's get loud.
Don't chase. Where's he coming back?
Let's get loud.
Right back.
Right? Either here
if I-
or maybe here, right?
Sit
Maybe
there.
you start to think selfishly, do I want to play here? Because honestly, to be honest, you could just do this again if you want to. You could do this again up here if you wanted to. You could just sit here again if you wanted to. Your choice. Don't give up space because look at where that space is being filled. You see it? Meanwhile, you're chasing butterflies. One big fat butterfly, that's for sure. Okay, there we go. Good.
Match point.
Let's do it faster.
Keep an eye on those amps.
Yeah.
It's very action oriented in terms of like there's kind of stuff happening, so you feel like, oh, I need to get some value, but it ends up not being really necessary. Yeah, it's okay. Let's keep going. I think maybe we just give it here.
Catch these healing waves. Oh, yeah.
All right. Good start. Good start. I like this. You don't know where they are just yet, but you're predicting, and then as soon as you get information, you can react accordingly. This is kind of what I talked about with the Reaper 1v1. You see how this uncomfortable this is for him? You just kind of pepper him down. You grab a health back. He has to wraith out. This is a good amp because I'm expecting you to take action off of it. You didn't quite, but it's not terrible.
I
I'm
got
gonna
a
be
game.
honest. Oh, you got a game? Okay, okay.
Yep.
Let's jump in. Start your stream if you haven't already. Okay. Oh, this is gonna be tough. Pit, lock it. Toss the game if you got it. Lock it. Lock it.
All right.
I want you to think strictly where is the enemy? What angle do I want to take with what the map provides to me? Play strictly selfishly around your positioning as much as you possibly can. Make sense?
Yep.
Who's your favorite hockey team?
I'm more of a basketball person.
Not a fan of your home team, huh?
So you could start to think right now because you won't know where enemies are. Like what's going to be your generic vanilla rollout. Just like kind of what you did in first fight with the Clash.
Yeah. Do you want me to use my like talk out loud or just play?
No, you can just play. You don't need to narrate. I'll say some crap occasionally here, but we'll keep it pretty simple. Okay, this makes the most sense for me. Stay here, don't second guess yourself. Yep. Hold the angle. Good, now what? Yep. That's okay. That's okay. Just a mechanical error. You gave you just took a really good cooldown trade, and then not so good. That's okay. What you can also do is if you do force that tracer out, you can then turn your attention just to shoot tank. All right. So with where this fight's going to happen, what's the angle that's going to make the most sense for you right now? Where are the enemies? Where should you be?
Are they top left here?
Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah, nicely done. Next progression, where should you go? So I want you to get close here. Want a little bit of that aggression.
Oh well.
That's okay. Play your life now. Nice, Sudan. So, you know, lag spike aside, you did well. Good stuff. Same thing here. Fight's going to happen approximately where? So where are the enemies, and then where do you need to be?
Probably left here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go get him. Go get him. All the way. He should be relatively low here. Okay, there's heal station. Okay, you're committing, so we go. Do it.
Echo.
Aww. I'm not gonna lie with you, mate. I beat that.
You beat that?
I beat that in the
I was
corner
thinking,
right there.
but I was like,
I
I
do it.
don't know.
I do it. I don't know if that's a good play or not, but I beat it. Actually, anything that I should do probably should just do the opposite of that for optimal play. All right, go ahead and set up your position here as your team is respawning. Start to think, where do I need to be? Where do I want to be? Remember, think strictly selfishly about where you want to play. What angle? That's okay.
Nice.
Hazard dies. Okay. We're not as worried about your amp or beat usage right now. I just want you to be thinking, like, what does the map provide to me and where do I go? Okay. Where's the fight going? Where do you want to be? Where does the map provide? Yep. Lag spike. Settle down and find where's your position. Where's your value here? Don't be scared of death. Let's get some value. Nice and short sightline. There it is. Yeah, keep up the pressure. Keep up the pressure here.
Really?
That's okay. Nice. Beautiful. Nice job. A little more confidence with how you move in here. This is good. Don't second guess your position. Where's the best position here with where things are going? Where are the enemies? Where should you be? Yeah, why not? Go for it. Just... It's okay. Reset. So that one's fine, but that needs to be a mechanical execution done better. So he's waiting for you to boop. You're just kind of using your boop, and then he's dashing afterwards. Like, and so what that means is that even though you don't die, the Juno's having to hard pocket you instead of the rest of your team. Find your position. Start to think. The next few seconds, where do you go? Where's your rotation from here? Okay. Next step. Good. Nicely done. Good. I think you might be looking for pulse here. Don't second guess yourself. Don't second guess yourself. Stay on the angle. Sure. Nicely done. Get her. Montage. There it is. You notice the second that you second guess your angle,
guess myself.
then you open yourself up, right? You open yourself up. Keep marking the soldier tracer. You're totally fine. Yep, this is fine. I believe. Just get out, just get out. Or die, one or the other.
I get mine.
Oh, that's good, you died. It's fine. Okay, where's your spot? Where's your space? Good. Good. Next step, where do you need to be? Too far? Alright, reset or die. Quick, 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 quick. Nice. Okay. Where's your space? Where the fight's happening? Where are the enemies? Where should you be? Sure. Yep. Diff. Play your life. All you need to do is live here, shoot some damage. Diff. Live. Nice job. Got a little hairy there when you fell off the wall, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, even if you're not on the wall, being in those spaces, it's remarkable how good you are at dueling. Same stuff. Trust yourself. Play your angle. This is too far on. Yeah, I was gonna say a little too far. You can pop it. All right, so everything is high risk, high reward here. I want you to make a play. That's okay. Good stuff. I think the only mistake there is like you need to be a little bit more decisive on that left angle, right? You kept looking behind at the tracer with who was actually in front of you. It's just more of I don't really know if it was an awareness issue so much as just like a scouting setup issue, but all right, let's get one. Let's get one here. Oh, it's okay. Good stuff. You felt valuable, right? Like not always perfect, but like you were contributing, and most of the mistakes that you made were just moments where it was like, I knew what I needed to do better there. What were those moments? What were those things that you feel that you made mistakes on? Positioning or not positioning?
Every time I looked away, like and doubted myself.
Yep. Even that last fight there, a little bit, a little slow to set up. Okay, what else? We'll even go even more micro-oriented here.
With that tracer, I beat her a couple times, so I was like, I should chase her, just keep her out of the fight.
Yep.
Even though I'm taking myself out of the fight at the same time.
Yep, sometimes pursuing too far away. It's the same thing as a wrecking ball, right? Like your luxury is that if you control a position, unless you have an opportunity to kill somebody, you don't need to chase too far. What else?
My amps and I wasn't paying attention to my amps or beats, so they were kind of sloppy.
Correct. All right, what else? How about mechanics, matchups, tracers versus Lucios versus Torbjorns versus soldiers versus hazards? Were there any ones that felt good or felt particularly bad?
My hazard felt really bad.
What about the hazard felt bad?
I kept booping him too early.
Right. And then opening yourself up to a bad HP trade. Exactly. Okay. Hazard's one of those matchups where you could do a really good job denying him or he could do a really good job denying you. It's just a skill check, right? So you can really endlessly chip his HP down and just make him just waste every single bit of his attention. Because from somebody who's played a lot of Hazard, if they don't get the slash on you, it's really hard for them to kill you. And you just always do more damage to him than he does to you, right? So that's an important matchup. So let's take some notes here. From both the replay review and the live coaching, give me some fundamental, specific, concrete things that you need to work on here.
Staying on my angle, finding the right angle too.
Stay on your angle, unless your angle no longer gets value. Don't second guess helping others when there's a job to do where you are. When choosing an angle, factor heavily in how much you like the position for yourself, right? Key two things that we talked a lot about. All right. What about more micro-oriented cooldowns, etc., matchups even?
Use my amp less not reactively. Use it more reactively to like what's going on rather than predicting something to happen.
Self actually does something. Rather than predicting your teammates. Right. So just more reactive, less predictive. Okay. I mean, if you think about it, even in a team-wide sense, you're still reacting with it, even in a team organized environment, because you're still reacting to a call. You get what I'm saying? So like it's when you open with an amp in a team environment, it's going, oh, I'm not expecting us to push. We're calling push, right? Like there's not even a question. It's happening, right? So that's very important even in a team environment. What else? Any other details you want to throw out there? Mechanics, amps, matchups?
With the hazard, save my boop for when he jumps. Should I save it for the slash?
No, just the jump. I mean, if all you need to do is hit him with a boop. That's it. With the jump. All you need to
Sometimes
do.
I feel like when I boop him, he just slashes and cancels the boop.
Well, if he can't, okay. So the slap. Okay, so what do you mean he slashes and cancels the boop? Explain a little
There
bit.
was a game today where he jumped the high ground and I booped him, and then he slashed and the boop did nothing. I don't know what happens.
Okay, I would have to look at that. Do you actually have the code? We can look at it really
think
fast
so.
if you want. Yeah. I'm gonna have to restart the stream here, but
I'm gonna find what time it's at.
that's okay.
I did send it.
Yep.
It was second.
Ready for battle. Ready for battle. You count on me? Behind you.
I mean, you can see one here. Here's one. I mean, you get the boop here, though. So if you look at this one right here, I think it's an accident, but he's on top of you here. He goes for the jump, and then you hit the boop right as he jumps and just dies. Did you see that?
Yeah, but then the slash canceled the momentum.
What do you mean the slash cancels momentum?
Like it stopped him from going back.
Well, yes, because but that's less about the slash, more about the fact that he's used a mobility cooldown forward. When you use Winston jump and you get booped, you don't go backwards. You just die. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with whip shot. Your momentum is just canceled, if that makes sense. It's like the equivalent of like Ryan's countercharging each other. He's used a motion forwards, you've used a motion backwards, and so his mobility goes forward. So if you booped him right there, the only time that you're able to get the boop on him is if he's already done the slash. You see? So like, look at this really quick right here. He's done his jump. You were too slow. You weren't paying attention. So he hits the slash, and then you boop after the slash, which is why he goes backwards. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is you don't want to let him get the slash off. That's why you're doing this. The slash is what you're trying to avoid. So he's still able to get that. I think he just misses it or no regs it. Like he should have gotten the slash there. I'm not sure what happened. I think what might have happened was an amp plus damage reduction from cardiac. I'm honestly not too sure. But regardless, he hits the slash there. That's the problem. That's why you're booping Hazard. You're not trying to boop Hazard to knock him away necessarily. You're just trying to boop Hazard so he doesn't hit the slash damage. That's why. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if you boop a Hazard mid-jump and you kill his momentum and that's fine. Like, you're not looking to knock Hazard back. You just don't want him to slash you. And now that he has a 6-second cooldown on his lunge, like, hitting a boop off of slash is a huge diminishment of his ability to be able to pursue afterwards. Like, it's a long wait afterwards. Let's see if we give you one more time. Trying to see if we get another one here.
At 2050, I do it again.
Okay, let's check out 2050.
Might be a bit before.
It's fine. Okay, so right here. Or maybe right here then.
Yeah, they're right here.
I mean, that's it. That's it.
Yeah, I guess I didn't see him use the slash.
Yeah,
or like
that's
the
it.
dash. So I
Yeah,
was
that's
like,
it. That's it.
How
So
did
you
he
didn't
know where-
you didn't see it, but there's also it's not like there's no chance to you have to predict this one. Otherwise, it's too fast, right? So if you look at this here,
Damn it. Too close.
oh, I guess you didn't boop it. I thought you did.
No, I did boop it. It's just the slash still happened. Like, I don't know.
Right. So you booped it really early, so his momentum cancels, but he's able to conserve some momentum for it. Let me look at this again. So you boop him. I think what happens is, oh man, I'm trying to figure this out. Did you boop him before?
I think I booped him like right as it happened, so it canceled that, but then the slash propelled him forward.
Yeah, I think, yeah, so here's what happened is you booped him before he lunged. Like a split second before he lunged, because watch his body. So he comes up, you prediction boop him, right? Because he's jumping, and then he breaks that momentum with a lunge, if that makes sense. So he gets boop. It's a weird timing, but it looks like he cancels your boop act. So he comes up, presses forward by a 1/10 of a second, you boop him, then he responds to your boop with the slash. This one's hard because it's much harder to be reactive with boop at this point blank range. Like you got to get the timing right. So I don't think this is bad. And as you can see, regardless, it kind of kills the momentum of the slash. Like it doesn't mean he doesn't get a lot of forward momentum with it. But yeah, a TLDR is just basically you're not doing it to knock him backwards necessarily. You're just making it so that that combo is a lot harder. That he's not able to quite get the slash on you. That's what you're trying to deny. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely need to work on my hazard matchup. I haven't played any support since he dropped.
That's okay. I mean, he's really high risk, high reward. If you can get it, you can get it. If not, not. You know, that's pretty much it. It's the same thing with Brig. It's really, really important. If you get it, you can really deny a lot of his value. And if not, then you're kind of screwed. All right. Any questions?
Not really. I think I'm good.
Biggest thing for you is how you're practicing, right? And the consistency with which you're practicing and the direction with which you're practicing and not overdoing it, right?